Agents were repeatedly steered to Homan by one of his own associates. Julian Jace Calderas, a former U.S. immigration official who worked under Homan in the Obama administration, allegedly proposed to the agents who were posing as businessmen that Homan could help them win lucrative federal contracts if Donald Trump became president again in exchange for $1 million. Calderas first allegedly proposed the scheme in May 2023 and continued to do so for more than a year until that September 2024 meeting in Dallas, where agents allegedly recorded Homan accepting $50,000 in cash. Instead of immediately moving to file charges, those agents waited to see what would happen after Homan joined the Trump administration as the nation's top immigration official. But when Donald Trump won, his DOJ shut the whole investigation down. The White House has criticized the investigation as a politically motivated inquiry by the Biden administration, and Homan has denied he did anything wrong. Joining us now, MSNBC Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delanian, MSNBC Senior Investigative Correspondent Carol Lenig, and MSNBC Senior Political and National Correspondent Jacob Soboroff. Carol, first off, did I get all that correct? And can you walk us through a little bit more of your sourcing?
Yeah, I was pretty impressed because we broke this story a few minutes ago and you got everything right, Katie. An associate of Tom Homan's who had worked with him in ICE at a much lower position than Tom Homan, a man named Julian Calderas, had approached these undercover agents, been introduced to them as part of a different investigation, and several times from 2023 through 2024, Mr. Calderas, according to a document we've reviewed and multiple sources, multiple times proposed Tom Homan can get you contracts. And in May 2023, he proposed a scheme, according to the FBI, whereby if for $1 million, Homan could get them contracts, and continued proposing that to the point that the FBI concluded they had to begin investigating Tom Homan for potential bribery.
So, Ken, what happened to this investigation again once Donald Trump won?
Well, they took no further investigative steps, is our information, Katie, and it ultimately was closed not very long ago after it was briefed by career Justice Department officials to members of the Trump administration. And when I was listening to Caroline Levitt there, something struck me that she said that I didn't hear before. She said the FBI agents knew very well that Tom Homan would be taking a job in the Trump administration. That's not true. This happened in September 2024, according to our reporting. So they had no idea who was going to win the election at that time. They were just following the investigation where it took them. Again, as Carol said, they were on a separate investigation, and they came across Calderas, and he steers them to Homan, and that was essentially how they got on to Tom Homan and began scrutinizing him. Remember, at the time he had served in the first Trump administration, and he was working as a consultant and as a lobbyist, essentially accepting money to help steer contracts. That's not illegal, but what the FBI agents heard during this meeting led them to think that, it led some people in the Justice Department to think that they could file charges right then and there. And one of the charges at issue was conspiracy to commit bribery. And it's interesting, when we broke our first story, some legal commentators said, well, you can't conspire with federal agents, so where's the conspiracy? Well, this would have been a factor in the calculations as to whether there could be a criminal conspiracy, because now you have two people accepting money at this meeting, two people working together, saying that Tom Homan will take money to steer contracts, Kate.
So why did the agents end up waiting? I mean, Caroline Levitt says they knew very well that he would get a job, but as you mentioned, this was back in September. If it was still very much up in the air about whether Donald Trump would win, as it was in September, why did they wait?
Well, our understanding is there was a debate about that, as there often is on these cases within the FBI and the Justice Department, and the consensus prevailed that it would be a stronger case and an actual bribery charge, potentially, if Tom Homan actually got this senior job that people thought he was going to get. Well, first, Donald Trump had to win, he won, and then actually fulfilled this allegedly corrupt agreement that he made during this meeting. And so they wanted to watch and wait, and they had lots of probable cause at that point to take further investigative steps, which may have included wiretaps or all kinds of intrusive things that the FBI needs evidence to actually undertake against the target of an investigation. But again, none of that happened because as soon as this was briefed to the Trump administration, it was on ice, as we understand it.
So, Jacob, tell me a little bit about Tom Homan and the intervening years between his first stint in the administration and why it was believed that he would be somebody who would definitely get a job in this second term, if there was one.
Well, he has been a career operator within the Department of Homeland Security for many years, including the Obama administration, where he was a senior official in ICE and recognized by the Obama administration for his work there. Remember, he first proposed the family separation policy, was part of the team that did that during the Obama administration. It was rejected out of hand and then adopted once he became part of the Trump administration in early 2017. Tom Homan made no secret after Donald Trump lost the election to Joe Biden that he wanted to return to government with Donald Trump. And, I spent time with Tom Homan out here in LA in advance of these wide-scale mass deportation raids that have been playing out all through the summer and now into the fall. But I also crossed paths with Tom Homan before that as he was making very clear, very publicly, that he wanted to rejoin Donald Trump in his effort to institute the largest mass deportation policy in American history. When Aaron Morris and I made that documentary Separated, based on my book about the family separation policy, Tom Homan showed up in person to an interview with Aaron Morris outside of Boston and actually left before the interview was set to take place. We still don't know why, but we put in the film some of the things that he was saying around that time, including, and it's in Carolyn Ken's latest piece of extraordinary reporting, if he comes back, I come back. He kept saying that over and over again about Donald Trump. When I reported from the floor of the Republican National Convention, I had text message exchanges with Tom Homan asking him about the rumors that he would become the Secretary of Homeland Security, S1, as they call it within the department. And he sent me back a smiley face emoji wearing sunglasses. But then when Donald Trump became President of the United States, and I think this reporting by Carolyn Ken raises an extraordinary question, why didn't he become that job? And I guess we don't fully know the answer to it, but what we do know through this reporting is that this investigation, these interactions with federal agents were taking place, and ultimately, of course, Tom Homan didn't become the Secretary of Homeland Security. He got this informal role as the border czar, where he has shown up now around the country as this dream that he and Donald Trump and Stephen Miller have said that they wanted to execute, this mass deportation policy, has unfolded, and he has remained central throughout all of this.
Yeah, let me play a little bit of Tom Homan's reaction to your initial reporting. Here he is talking about how he came into the administration on Newsmax. This was last week on September 24th.
Day one of the administration, when President Trump asked me to come back and we entered on duty, I met with ethics attorneys, and by law, you're supposed to recuse yourself from any company you had affiliations with before. But I took it a step further. I recused myself from all federal contracts. I won't have any decision-making in any federal contract, but people, including this recent case, people are saying, I'm going to line the pockets of people. I signed that declaration. I do not make decisions in any federal contracts. And just so people know, I make about 18% of what I've made in my company to come back and serve my nation. So my family's taken a sacrifice. I've taken a sacrifice. I'm back here doing the right thing. The hit pieces keep coming, but I know who's chumming the water. I know who keeps throwing this information out, and the media jumps all over it. And they're going to see some legal actions real soon. I'm working with a legal team. I'm done with it. They can attack me all they want, but we're going to take action.
Carol, any other comment to this updated reporting?
I think it's just really important to underscore, Katie, and Ken and Jacob do a great job of keying off these essential points. But Tom Homan has not yet once denied taking $50,000 in cash as recorded by the FBI per the documents we've reviewed. And now we have another individual, a close ICE associate of his, who worked with him, who we have identified through documents and sources, who accepted $10,000 in cash at the same meeting. And there are questions that are flying around. Where is that money? Why is Tom Homan not denying that he took this cash?
Did Calderas comment on this story? Has Homan commented on this story?
I reached Calderas on the phone, and he said he knows nothing about this, and if any of what I've said to him on the phone is accurate, he needs to talk to his lawyer. He hung up, and we've not spoken since, and he's not responded to MSNBC's requests for comment in multiple places.
All right, so the FBI declined to comment for the story, and Trump officials at the Justice Department did not respond to requests for comment. You can read the full story on MSNBC.com. Carol, Ken, thank you for your report.